Yeah, can we open the doors there at the back, please? If you brought all the recorders to the front, Lesotho, all those people who would like to. Basil, why did you close the door? Can we also request everybody to switch off their cell phones because we are going on air, right? For your phone. Is that your phone? It certainly cannot be from you. Present.
For us to be on air on time, it's the way we'll give the deputy the media. Is that possible?
What?
With Haraphosa. Immediately. 1 minute.
1 minute. Deputy President. SABC. Can we proceed? Are you certain? Huh? Good. Okay. No, Chief. Keep the recording devices. Thirty seconds. 30 seconds to go on air. Basil, then you can calm down. Right. Good evening. Your Excellency, Facilitator, Deputy President Cyril Ramaphosa, the Head of Mission and distinguished members of the SADC Facilitation Mission to Lesotho, the Director of Program, Your Excellencies, Ambassadors and High Commissioners stationed in Lesotho, distinguished guests, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed my pleasure to welcome you all to this media briefing. As I've said, we were delayed because of a number of meetings that we had by the facilitator. Nonetheless, the facilitator is now here to lead us in a briefing, and without much ado, I think we should invite the facilitator and Deputy President to address us. I thank you. Deputy President.
Thank you, Director of the Program, Your Excellencies, Head of Mission and Deputy Head of Mission, and Director of the Troika Organ based in Botswana. It's a real joy and pleasure to sit before you and give what I think is almost the penultimate report of the mission that was set up here in September. The aim of the mission as it was set up was to ensure that there is political stability in the Kingdom of Lesotho, as well as security, following the disturbances that we had on the 30th of August, which made the leaders in the region, the SADC region, the double troika, and the organ to intervene. Following that intervention, our mission was then appointed, and I was appointed the facilitator. And the clear mandate, as I said, we were given was stabilize the political situation in Lesotho and make sure that there's peace and security. And by and large, that has been achieved. We have succeeded in stabilizing the political climate, and that we did by embarking on a number of interventions, some of which were making sure that we signed the Maseru Accord, Declaration rather, and thereafter Parliament opened, and the members of Parliament were able to go back to Parliament and start debating issues of importance to the Lesotho nation. Mainly what they had to debate was the whole process of preparing the country to hold elections by the end of February. That they did do, and the Parliament adjourned. The other important intervention, of course, was the signing of the Maseru Security Accord, and that through that accord we were able to bring stability to the security situation in Lesotho, which resulted in many citizens of this country feeling safe, feeling that they can go about their business, do a whole lot of things. And we were able also to get the Lesotho Defense Force as well as the Lesotho Mounted Police Service to work together, to cooperate in common structures, and they were also able to have common activities like marches together, and some measure of planning started taking place together. And through these activities, we believe that a healing process then commenced, and we were rather pleased that they found that they had a lot in common with each other, because their job as security agencies is to secure the safety of the people of Lesotho. Following that, we signed an electoral pledge where all political parties that were meant to contest for elections committed themselves to participating in elections on a free and fair basis and observing all the electoral laws of the country, as well as making sure that their campaigning was of such a nature that it would be conducive to the creation of a climate where free and fair elections could happen. During that period, we also had to deal with a few minor incidents of not such a serious nature, where we were able to stabilize or further stabilize the situation. With all that, we got a good sense that the nation was ready for elections. The IEC kept briefing us that they were getting ready, and we were able also to talk to those in power to make sure that the IEC has all its money to run the election. And indeed, we also had a great deal of cooperation and assistance from various fraternal organizations around the world, the SADC countries, the AU, the EU, the Commonwealth, and a number of other countries, including the UN. We felt that we had a great deal of support from all over the world for the work that we were doing here in Lesotho. Now, we were overjoyed on the 28th when the people of Lesotho went to elections, and we would like as SADC to congratulate them for their turnout during the SADC facilitated and brought forward elections. The outcome of the elections is a true reflection of the will of the people of Lesotho. One could categorically say that the people have spoken. The people of Lesotho have indeed demonstrated their preference as to who should occupy the seat of government in the country. It is now incumbent upon the leadership of the political parties to ensure the realization of the aspirations of the people of Lesotho. We would like to applaud all political parties that participated in the electoral process. We think they did so in a dignified manner, in a responsible manner. We were very pleased with the way that they ran their electoral campaign, the rallies that they had, the voter education processes that they also embarked on, including those voter education processes that were run by organs of civil society. We congratulate these parties that finally won seats in the assembly, including what is now going to be formed soon, which will be the coalition government. We extend our gratitude to the Lesotho's IEC for the excellent organizational and logistical arrangement for the elections. We believe that the IEC truly excelled, and they were able to run elections and prepare for the election within a short space of time, and they did show all and sundry, including the observers who were here, that they were capable of running an election with such short notice having been given. And these elections were ran within the framework of the Lesotho Constitution, and we think everything by and large went well. And we would also like to congratulate Lesotho security forces for the role that they played in these elections. We found the role they played to be quite helpful, and it assisted the IEC in many ways. The Lesotho Defence Force participated in transporting the ballot papers to those mountain areas in the country, and they did so, as they've always done in the past, with a great deal of diligence and capability. We thank the Lesotho Defence Force for having stayed in barracks, and their staying in barracks contributed to a sense of security to a number of people in Lesotho. We also would like to congratulate the Lesotho Mounted Police Service for the sterling work that they performed. They were able to deploy themselves to all the almost 3,000 polling stations around the country, and that contributed to ensuring that we have a free and fair election, and we'd like to thank them for that and for the leadership of all these forces. We'd also like to extend our gratitude to the various observer missions that were here. They were of great assistance. They gave counsel, they gave advice, and they were practically there throughout the country and observed the elections, and where necessary also gave advice. We'd like to thank them for the various statements that they issued after the elections were completed. All of them, without exception, said that the elections were free and fair, and that they were credible. And our gratitude also goes to the security force members from the various SADC countries. A number of these men and women in uniform have been here in Lesotho since September. I'd like to extend my gratitude to them. Many of them never even got an opportunity to go and visit their families from a number of countries, from as far-flung as Malawi, Zimbabwe, Namibia, Botswana, Swaziland, and South Africa, and as far afield as Tanzania. I'd like to thank them for the commitment, the dedication. This is when SADC demonstrated to the whole world that when one of our own members runs into internal difficulties, the SADC community, true to its principles and beliefs, is willing and able and prepared to come to its assistance. And so we thank them. Finally, I'd like to thank the head of mission and his assistant head of mission for being here in Maseru throughout the period, including the staff from various countries. It was a joy to watch the staff of the mission, various officials, working excellently. People from different countries, people who had never worked together before, working so well together, dealing with daily problems and challenges, and working as though they were people from the same family. And indeed, they are people from the same family. And would like to say lastly, as the SADC Troika met the other day in Pretoria, they reviewed the progress that had been made here, and they were satisfied that the elections could be held. But in reviewing the situation in Lesotho, they said, post the election, SADC will continue to remain seized with the issues around Lesotho. We will remain engaged and involved, and to this end, SADC will also be seeking to assist Lesotho in the next process that should follow these elections. And that process, as decided on by the SADC leaders, was that Lesotho should begin the process of embarking on some reforms at a constitutional level as well as at a security level, so as to ensure that we do not have a similar situation occurring again in future. The good thing with this is that various stakeholders here in Lesotho agree with this analysis by the leaders. Many people in this country believe that post these elections, we should now have a dialogue, have a process that will look at what now needs to be reformed constitutionally, what now needs to be reformed for the security sector, so that the peace and stability and political stability that we have now stabilized continues for ever and ever in a day. This SADC is committed to ensure is achieved, and we are very pleased that we have partners, the people of Lesotho, the leadership of Lesotho, are partners in peace and partners in stability. And as we move ahead, we are absolutely certain that we will continue working with them to achieve this very important ideal. Lastly, I think democracy has reigned. Lesotho has once again demonstrated that it is the home of democracy. The people of Lesotho, the ordinary people of Lesotho, are Democrats, true Democrats. They have been able to exercise their vote. They have been able to vocalize their aspirations, and they have now spoken, What now remains is the leadership of this country to go ahead and form a government that will be as inclusive as possible, that will take this country forward in a democratic way, but more importantly, in a very peaceful and stable way. This is what SADC would like to see here in this country. So I personally look forward to returning back to Maseru to attend the inauguration, to see the new government installed, and to see a new Prime Minister inaugurated. Thank you very much.
We thank the Deputy President for his remarks on behalf of the SADC Facilitation Mission. May I take a few questions? I think we are going to be pressed for time. Basil Dan, and I can't see there behind because the light is too much. One, two, I'll take all of them at the same time. Basil Dan, Ntagwane, there's a lady there. Then you, and then the last one there, right? That will be fine. In that order. Basil then, Takwane, Madame there, yourself, then the last one there at the back. Let's take all of them at the same time. So that four questions. Basil then.
My first question, David President, is linked to what you mentioned last, formation of government which is as inclusive as possible. We understand that SADC leaders, through you, have asked the incoming Prime Minister to form a government as inclusive as possible. By this, meaning including the party of the outgoing Prime Minister. I want to know whether this is true. The second question is the new government has announced that the army commander and the police commissioner whose duty is partly attributed to the events of 13th August last year are going to return to their position. Does this, in your view, guarantee the durability of your intervention and the stability that you have so far secured in Lesotho? You will know that there were investigations, dockets that had been opened already around the events of August 30. Will the return of these two gentlemen just perpetuate the problem? I'll skip the last question, Ronnie, and go to the last one. The South African police who are here and who have played a very significant role in helping stabilize the situation, how long are they going to be here for? Will they remain after this, after the inauguration, and for how long? Their presence has given the people here a big sense of security. How long are you able to keep them?
Thank you. My name is Billy Ndaude. I'm from the Lesotho Times newspaper and the Sun Express. I would like to know what are the views of the SADC Facilitator regarding a recommendation by the AU that Lesotho should have a grand coalition that would be inclusive of the major political parties. Also, I would want to know what are the views of the SADC Facilitator regarding an already going movement that there is a 7-party coalition that is already claimed that they have been, or they're forming a government.
Okay, thank you.
Very briefly, Rapelang Khatebe is my name. My question is, Lesotho's problems are never during elections. The volcano always erupts once the elections are over. What are you going to do to facilitate that such incidents never take place?
My name is Pascalina from Public Eye. My question is, I understand that the international organizations, including SADC, have recommended that the DC and ABC form coalition government. Is that true?
Mtakwana, I'm sure you hear this question about the government of national unity coalition. Everybody has been asking the same question. I hope you're not repeating that. Thank you.
Not, thank you. Mtakwana, SABC. Deputy President, you have come out with a result that was desired by the parties that are now forming a coalition prior to this whole exercise. After 220 million rand, Maluti, was it really worth it?
Thank you. That should bring us to the end of the question session. Your Excellency, Deputy President is going to be responding on behalf of our mission. I see Deputy Minister, Honorable Deputy Minister Rad Malikan has joined us too. No, afternoon, Deputy Minister. Deputy President.
Okay.
Thank you.
I mentioned the notion of an inclusive government because it's quite clear since 2012 that Lesotho has now entered the era of coalition politics. And the 2012 results demonstrated that. The 2015 result has demonstrated that. The political balance that exists in the country is such that the formation of any government will need to include other parties, and hence the usage of the word inclusive government. So whichever way one looks at it, the last time we had a coalition which included a number of parties. This time it will include a number of parties. So that is inclusive government. Now, is that what SADC has said should be done? No, we have not said so. The people of Lesotho have to decide this for themselves. A solution of this nature cannot be imposed on the people of Lesotho. They themselves have to decide that. So we are hopeful that in their own wisdom, in their own form, they will be able to form a government which is as inclusive as possible. It could well be the current coalition that has been mooted now. That too will be an inclusive government. Basil also asked about the army commander and the police commander who are said to be coming back. The commander of the army, Major General Kamuni, Lieutenant General Kamuni, and the commissioner are not in Lesotho at this point in time. They will come back home to Lesotho. They left the country under the auspices of the SADC mission, and they will come back to the country under the auspices of the SADC mission. When that will be determined by the SADC mission. So right now, they are not in Maseru, they are not in Lesotho. The next question was, when will the South African Police Service members leave? How long will they be here? The South African Police Service, and indeed the other police service units that are here from various countries, Zimbabwe, Namibia, and Tanzania, and so on, will leave Lesotho. They are not Lesotho nationals, so they are bound to leave. The question is timing, the question is exit strategy, and that will be determined by the SADC mission that is positioned here. Those people will soon not be on Lesotho soil, and so do not get surprised if you no longer see them in Maseru or in Lesotho. What is clear and what is definite and what is going to happen and what is sure is that they will leave. The date and time will be determined by the mission depending on a number of circumstances. Billy asked from the Times, did SADC, or he said the AU recommend a grand coalition? I am informed that one of the SADC, the AU representatives did mention the idea of a grand coalition. And clearly, this is a matter that has to be discussed by the political parties in Lesotho. They must take their own decisions. They must discuss all this, as they have always discussed issues that have to do with coalitions. This is one of those that they will discuss. So it will be their decision, and in the end, it will be no one else's decision but the leaders of political parties in Lesotho's decision. They will decide. So ideas may be bandied around, suggestions may be bandied around, but in the end, no one else will decide this other than the people of Lesotho. Khatebe says that the volcano always erupts after the elections. Yes, it always erupts when the elections are over. Well, I don't know how many days it is now. I haven't seen a volcano erupting. I don't know where this volcano is. But if what you mean is soon after the elections there's always something that happens at the political level, my information tells me that after the 2012 elections there was no eruption, there was no volcano, and the coalition started running into trouble during 2014, and that is when it came unstuck and it did not function as well as people had thought that it would function, or as well as they had written the rules, the agreements down. So that coalition became dysfunctional, as everyone admitted. Right now, we've just emerged out of an election. We are hopeful, as the SADC mission here on the ground, and indeed SADC is also hopeful, and so are many other organizations, that the stability that we have achieved will hold, and that it will continue for a very long time. And in fact, we are hopeful that it will continue forever. This is a stability that was hard won. It's a stability that many people worked for. It's a political stability that we would like to see growing, deepening, broadening on a daily basis. They want stability. They want to get on with their lives. They don't want to see political volcanoes erupting again. They just want to get on with their lives. When I went around to the various polling stations, as I spoke to ordinary Basotho, they kept saying to me, we are people of peace. We Basotho are people of peace. And we want peace, and we've come here to vote for peace. And indeed, they have voted for peace and stability. We must allow that peace and stability to settle down, and we must allow it to keep growing by the day. And I am confident that with this election result that has been yielded by the people of Lesotho, they are basically saying they are investing their confidence, their trust in the leadership of this country to take this country forward on a peaceful basis. So I do not expect that there will be any eruption, any disturbance of the peace. And may I also say that I just 30 minutes ago, I had a meeting with the leaders of the security forces, and they have assured me that they are going to continue cooperating peacefully and they say that the Ramaphosa, one of the best things that the SADC mission ever did for us is to get us to enter into the Maseru Security Accord. They say that was one of the best things. In the past, we used to work in different, in sort of solitary ways. We were not always united in what we did. Now we've got a command center, joint command center. We meet often. We work together. We're getting more and more involved in joint exercises. And they said to me, we are going to continue working together. And they assured me that at the member level, at the middle leadership level, and at the top level, leadership level, people want to work together. They want to do things together. And right now, they are now getting ready for the inauguration process. They are beginning to get ready because they have a role to play there. So that tells me that there shouldn't be any eruption. There should be peace. And I met with the leaders of various political parties today, and they also assured me that peace is what they want, stability is what they want, and it is what they've worked for. My sister here asks, was the 220 million maluti that was spent on the election worth it? I say yes. Elections don't come cheap these days. Elections all over the world are now expensive activities. They have to be funded, and every government in the world that practices democracy should know that it must budget for an election when the people of the country should go to the elections and elect their leaders. Now, every country should know that, and Lesotho also knew that. So, fortunately, they had budgeted amounts that they could gather together from various programs without denying those programs money, and they were able to put money together to go to these elections. Democracy has a price. Unfortunately, we live in an era where democracy has to be paid for, and every country knows that it has to be paid for. And in the end does justify the means. And this end, where the people express their will, express their wish, and articulate their aspirations, is worth every cent that, or every maluti that a government can spend on. So the people have spoken. Let us accept that the people having spoken means that democracy is at work, means that the money that was spent was worth all the trouble, all the effort, all the hard work. And let us remember, a lot of people put in a lot of hours, a lot of effort, a lot of hard work, and many people did not even have much sleep during this election process. Did it only cost 220 million maluti? No, it cost much more. What is the price of democracy? The price of democracy is much more than 220 million maluti. So, my sister, it was worth every maluti. We have democracy at work in Lesotho. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Deputy President. That brings us to the end of the press conference. Good evening. Enjoy your day.
Okay, you see my scribble notes. Did I take your pen?
Huh? Yeah. No, where's Voyo? Voyo.
Yes, okay.
He says 7 minutes. No, Kurman, I direct. I think we go to clear them.